Hello everyone, welcome. It's done it again. Every time I start the webinar, it tings once and then I start talking and then it tings again. So I should learn by now to wait for the second ting. So let's start again. Hello, my name is Tiffany Crisara and welcome to November's Astro Tarot channel. I'm pleased to see that some of you have made it, because I realised earlier that it seems like none of the reminders for this webinar have gone out at all this month. So I was thinking, I think I might be talking to myself, but I'm quite used to that, so that's good. I was all up for it. But it's really lovely to see that some of you have actually not even needed the reminders and are here to take part in what I advertised as an All Souls Day Halloween type special. In fact, today is All Saints Day. I went on Wikipedia and it seems like there was a change. Someone somewhere changed it. So Halloween yesterday, All Saints Day is today, and All Souls Day is tomorrow. Well, I kind of like that in a way, because, you know, the energies aren't just here for one day and then they go away. So it feels like a pretty special weekend. One of Halloween, I mean, I didn't go out last night. I did actually. I went to my body step class. It said it was Halloween step. I thought we were going to be doing the monster mash and things, but everybody was dressed up. It was quite good fun. I felt a little bit of a party pooper because I didn't realise. And here where I am in Mousehole in Cornwall, everybody makes really big things of these types of celebrations. I just wasn't in the mood for it. It was cold and it was wet. So in a way, my Halloween is today. I've taken the chance to kind of dress up a little bit witchy like. And we're going to do a little bit of a meditation on yeah, kind of what the energies about Halloween are before we go into doing the divination for the month and answering any questions that you might have. I've just realised also that I haven't checked that you can hear me okay. So I'm just going to go over to the chat box, and if you could just put in there that you can hear me. I've got one comment there already which says, "Hi Tiffany, happy November, glad to be here." Glad you're here, and that's from Kim. Hi Kim. So be aware that when you put things in the chat box, you can chat to everybody as well. You can kind of build the energy that way, which is always nice. If you just want me to know, then you come in on the drop down box. Okay, so can someone just let me know please that you hear me okay? Thank you, Hadley, that's awesome. And Helen, thank you very much. Yes, excellent. Oh, someone says you can't see me. Is that because you are on your phone? I don't think you can see things on your phone. Bless you. I'm sorry about that, but if you can go to a computer, that might sort that one out for you. Okay, all right. So, are we ready? Okay, we're gonna kind of get into the zone for a little meditation on what this energy is about, the energy of Halloween. Now, of course, we're going into the darkest, deepest time. Scorpio rules this month, and it's all about getting right down to the roots, to the darkest bits of ourselves, and dissecting, really. That's what the cauldron is all about. It's symbolic of transformation, which is what Scorpio is about. It's about transformation. And in some traditions, there is a meditation where they meditate on themselves being chopped up and put into the cauldron. Now, I'm not going to go there today with that one because it is quite full on, but keep it in your mind if that's something that you would wish to experience. You can bring it into the meditation that we will be doing if that's something you choose to do. It's quite interesting. I don't even know what the meditation is that we're going to do. It's I read something yesterday about this month being the month of the unknown. And I also looked at other astrology reports in preparation for today. And I have to say that for the first time that I can remember, there didn't seem to be any cohesiveness at all. It was all very, very different. And I started to feel a bit kind of confused and a bit kind of overwhelmed. And then I thought, no, this is just about clearing out all of that external stuff and coming in to our own place and our own intuition and our own intention, which I have to admit, I've had a few big lessons this month about not listening to my intuition, and they've been big. So it feels like it really is a time to be looking in ourselves and making sure that we really are coming from that place. So we're just going to have a few moments to do that. And I will go completely into my intuition and listen to whatever wants to come through about guiding that energy in the moment. And if you do the same, that would be absolutely fantastic. So just give yourself permission to listen to your intuition. And if it doesn't fit with what I'm saying, what I'm guiding, that's fine. Just go on your own little journey. Okay. All right. So if you would like to close your eyes and just take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just release any tension that's been gathering, just like an overcoat falling off to the floor. And just allow yourself to come in to you. A way that can help you do this is to just see a number on the screen of your mind from 1 to 10. Whatever pops up is just how present you are right now. So take note of that. And if you wish to up it to the most present, which would be 10, then just tune in to where the energies, your energy may be. It may be in a few different places with a few different people. So just give yourself permission to bring that energy back to you now. Use your breath if that helps, and do it one by one if that helps. Okay, what I'm getting is that we could all do with a bit of clearing and energizing. So after you felt that last click in of the return of your energy, noting where that's come in as well, the different parts of your body that are being re-energized by the return of your energy. Would now just like you to imagine a big gold disc above you. And just allow that big gold disc to shine down over you, but not just shine down, just feel it actually coming around you and clearing your energy from your crown, going all the way down past your temples, down over your head and your neck. Just feel this golden force just clearing your energy and revitalizing it further. Going all the way down your body and your arms. Down, down, down down through your legs, down through your ankles, and down through the floor. And as it goes down through the floor, just become aware of gravity. And take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just release any last bits of anything you might be holding on to. And just allow it all to ground. Now that sentence, the last bits of anything you might be holding on to, actually feels really relevant. So I am gonna say visualize a cauldron in front of you, but you don't have to visualize yourself chopped up into pieces in it. All we're going to do is just ask ourselves a few questions. And just imagine yourself writing the answer on a piece of paper and just putting it into the cauldron. So my first question to you is, what mindset are you currently in that you would benefit letting go of? Just write down the first thing that comes to mind. And just place it in the cauldron. My next question to you is, what emotion are you currently struggling with that by letting go of, you would feel so much lighter for? So just writing that out and putting it in the cauldron. My next question to you is, what behavior am I currently acting out in my life that I would benefit being free from? I don't know about you, but I've got a whole load coming up for me there. So even if you can't get clarity or your papers run out, don't worry about that. It's just about working with that intention. Your subconscious is hearing your call. And if you can't visualize, don't worry about that. It's just your intention that matters. Even if you can feel it but can't articulate it, just place it in the cauldron. Even if it's not on the paper, it's just that energy. And my last question to you is, what is it that has manifest in my world already, whether that be home, work, relationship, friends, anything that's tangible in your life that's here in front of you? what aspect of that would serve me if it went, would open up my life to more expansion if it went. And that might be a tough one. You might find some levels of resistance with it. If you do, just note that. And if you're not ready to put it in the cauldron, that's also fine, but just note that. Because now is your opportunity to transform this. However, there now is always your opportunity. I'll try and speak a bit better. Now is always your opportunity. It just so happens that the energies around right now are supportive of us going into a dissection and a letting go. Okay, so that golden energy that went down into the ground is now coming up underneath your cauldron like a fire, and everything is starting to steam and catch light and be offered up to all the saints and all the souls on this All Saints, All Souls weekend as an offering. And as that happens, please just take a moment to remember your spiritual connection with your guides and also any loved ones that have passed. And just open your heart to them and just allow however that connection feels to come through. And just see the last bits of embers just smouldering away in the cauldron. And just feel the winds of change reaching into the cauldron and blowing away any last bits of the embers out into the universe. And when you're ready, just increase your breathing and move your body just to bring yourself, your awareness, should I say, back to where you are right now. Okay. And so I hope that you found that beneficial. And it would be great to hear a little bit when we get into the question part of the Astro Tarot channel. If you feel like feeding back on anything that happened for you then, I'd be really pleased to know. I'll let you know when to send in your questions. Otherwise they get dotted all over the place and I easily miss people. So this is the point where we do our reading for the month. Okay, so what I would like is for you just to send your thoughts up and just ask for whatever needs to come through for the highest good of yourselves. And sorry, there was just a message that popped up. So the highest good of yourselves, the highest good of anybody that watches this webinar, either now or on the replay, and just for the highest good of all in general to come through. Okay. Now, and maybe we need to offer a little something back to the universe. And I think maybe what that might be this month is to really make a dedication to listening to our intuition above and beyond anything external. I mean, that's also what Scorpio is about. It's a very, very private, intuitive sign. And this time of the year is very much about going deep within. It is the hibernation phase. It is all about nurturing that feeling and that connection, and getting ready for what it is that we would like to create come the new year. And I think that's a very deeply personal experience. It's a bit like being pregnant. You know, it's like we know that something's growing. We can't see what it is. It's amazing. It's unfathomable. It's a miracle in itself. And you know, it's all about really taking care, really being responsible for our own process. Okay. So, hi Joy, I'm glad to see that you got in and you're saying hello to everyone. That's brilliant. And we're going to go over to the reading. Just going to take a little drink. Okay. So, you're probably not going to see very well whilst I'm laying things out on here, but I will come up one by one with them. So this is just the process of blending our energies while it happens, and me weebiling around as usual. Okay, so we have 3 decks also as usual. We have 2 of Chiro Machetes. I always use the same ones. I'm a bit of a Taurus ascendant Cancer moon type of girl. I get very attached to things. This is Chiro Machetes Tarot of Dreams. You know, when I had my first tarot deck, it took me years and years to get another one because I felt like I was being unfaithful. I still have it, but it's had loads of transplants over the years because I just could not bear to get rid of my my most original deck, and I feel that way about all of them. So I'm sure that one day on the Astro Tarot channel, even when I come up to the front, you won't be able to see what I'm talking about. There'll just be little tokens of what was left. Okay, so what we have here is 3 decks to shuffle. This one was the Osho Zen. I don't know if I told you that. Okay, so first deck. Send your thoughts up. Ask that whatever wants to come through for the highest good of all concerned to come through. And you can also just join in with the fun and just say stop in your mind and see if it does actually coincide with when I stop. Okay, so the first card there for the first week in November is the 9 of Swords. Now, that might mean stuff to you already, or it might not, but don't worry, I'll just say what they are for now, and I'll do the explanation once they're all laid out. So the second week, we've got the 8 of Cups. The third week, we've got the 9 of Pentacles. The 4th week, we've got the Wheel of Fortune. And the 5th week, we've got the 8 of Pentacles. So what I'm seeing already, because the Wheel of Fortune is a number 10, is that all the cards are on the high end. We're all from 8 to 10, which means there's strength building to finish things off, to start a new cycle. But we'll see how the other decks blend in as we go along as well. Okay, so deck 2, send your thoughts up again. Same process as before. Okay, first one that we've got, which is going next to the 9 of Swords, is the Knight of Coins. Second one we've got, which is going with the 8 of Cups, is the Palace of Wands. This is unique to this deck. The closest way to describe it would be like an ace. It's like you're in the element of that element. Okay, next one, 3 of Swords, going with the 9 of Pentacles. Next one, King of Wands, going with the Wheel of Fortune. And the next one is the 7 of Cups, which is, I was going to say the lowest number, but we have had a 3 come in. So the 7 of Cups has come up in the general there, which is going with the 8 of Pentacles. And the last one that will show Zen. Once again, just send your thoughts up. The Lovers is going with the 9 of Swords and the King of the Knight of Coins in the first week. Control, which is the the King of Swords, is going with the 8 of Cups and the Palace of Wands in the second week. Postponement, which is the 4 of Swords, is going with the 9 of Pentacles and the 3 of Swords for the third week. Awareness, which is the Chariot, is going with the Wheel and the King of Wands for the fourth week. Wow, we're on fire in the fourth week. And I just picked what looks like the Sun, but it's actually the Ace of Wands in the general here. Okay, so we will take it one by one. I will come up with the first week now. Okay, hi. Just going to have a little drink. Okay, so first week in November, the first thing that we have, astrologically speaking, is a full moon in Taurus. When I tuned into that, I was like, oh, thank goodness for that, a full moon in Taurus, because we've had so much stuff going on with the moon this year. I mean, eclipses we have every year, but we had a whole load of super moons this year as well. So it feels as if the moon has been a very, very powerful influence on us this year. It feels like we've really been on a ongoing high spin. And the minute it kind of stops again, it's like, oh, and then it starts again and we're off again. And, you know, with astrology forecasts and things, they usually start off by saying it's a very intense week. And it's like, yeah, you know, I kind of like the report that said it's the unknown. Who knows? I mean, really, truly, we don't know, do we? I mean, okay, us humans have read the stars since, you know, before the wheel, you know, so there is a very, very deep connection. We are made of the stars and it is our universe and we are a part of that. But what I would like to encourage through this reading is a certain amount of detachment and a certain amount of you listening to your own intuition and taking on board whatever you feel is right for you and just letting go of anything that doesn't feel that way for you. So to me, Taurus, a moon in Taurus, I was like, yes, at last, full moon in Taurus, because the moon is in exaltation in Taurus, which means it loves to be in Taurus. It's that grounding aspect, like the moon and gardening, for instance, are very linked, believe it or not. You would think it's the sea, and it is the sea, but it is also the earth. Gardeners, you know, they plant by the rhythms of the moon. So what we've got with this full moon in Taurus is like this emotional grounding. Now, of course, with full moons, they are emotional. So if you have been feeling negative in any way, you know, depressed, stressed, anxious, all of those types of things, then the full moon will just exasperate that, even though it is in Taurus. Or if you're feeling happy and you know, really in a place of joy and love, then it will magnify that as well. But even if it does magnify the negative feelings, and you know that it's just that high spin to come out the other end again, that is the whole process of it. However, you know, Taurus is all about grounding, and it is a chance on the 6th to actually, and the day before and day after to really actually focus on our emotional grounding and what it is we want to attain as well, because Taurus is the builder, you know, and it is about attaining things on the external level as well. But like I said, it's intuitive. You know, we have the opposite sign of Scorpio all around this month. That's the opposite to Taurus, which is the inner guidance. So we can really kind of bring these things together, and particularly in the first week. So the tarot is saying here, you have the 9 of Swords there. So, you know, what I was saying about things coming up, yeah, I mean, even if you are feeling happy, I have to say with this, it feels like there could just be stuff really coming up out of nowhere. I mean, I've been experiencing that quite a bit, actually. Things that I felt were done and dusted internally, like my own behaviors or reactions to things. It's like things have come up in the world externally and kind of like triggered them. And it's like, wow, actually, that feels like it's not been of my own doing. But why is this actually happening? So you could well have some of that going on, particularly also as Mercury isn't out of its shadow period until the 10th. Now, what I mean by that is Mercury, the planet of communication, has just come out of its retrograde period. It came out on the 25th of October. However, it still has a shadow period. And to be honest, I think this shadow period has been one of the most intense ones. So most people might think, oh, Mercury went direct on the 25th of October. We have a green light on communications, contracts, signing deals, going forward with things. It's like, well, no, not really. Not until the shadow period has ended, which is usually a couple of weeks later. There is also a shadow period before Mercury goes retrograde. So all in all, things to do with communications with people and external plans in general don't just go AWOL and out of control for 3 weeks. They go like that for more like 9 weeks, 8 or 9 weeks, a couple of months. And when you think that Mercury does that 3 times in a year in general, that's a long time. That's like half of the year that we have that energy for. And the thing with Mercury retrogrades is that most people feel like, okay, we can't do anything in a Mercury retrograde. Now, of course, you can't not do anything in your life for like half of the year. But what it is about it's about revisiting whatever happens that feels uncontrollable, that feels like it's full of misunderstanding. And believe me, I've really been whacked with that a lot this month. Is just a process. It's like, why is this coming up again now? And I do feel that the Taurian full moon is about this revisiting that we've had the last couple of months, really coming to an end and really releasing that down into the earth and going, okay, who are we now? What have we learned from that? And how do we go forward from it? Okay, so that might be what the 9 of Swords is kind of about there. And this is also what the Knight of Coins is about, because the Knight of Coins is like a Taurian energy, and it's about really grounding stuff, because the 9 of Swords, sorry if my arm's all over the place, there we go, I think I've got it rested on my knee now. The 9 of Swords is about your thoughts, and your thoughts building up to such a level that it's like, oh God, you know, it's like a need to really let go. I mean, it could be things about paranoia. It's a build-up of mental energy, and there's a need to release it and a need to ground it. So what we're seeing here is like the Taurian full moon galloping, that's the word, across. It's like your knight in shining armor, isn't it? Like rescuing the damsel in distress here, who's worried worrying ourselves sick about things here. And it's like saying, let's clear that energy, let's ground, let's get back to basics, let's look at really what matters here, and let's just clear the energy. So that's the energy I feel that we have around the first week in November. You've also got the Lovers. Lovers is a Gemini card, and the Lovers is called the Choice in some decks, which I think is better because it is more about free will than it is necessarily about love. It's free will, temptation, decision, choices. You know, so there's something here about what are you going to do for yourself, love? Are you going to just allow yourself to torture yourself here, or are you going to simplify your life and allow whatever wants to fall away to fall away? Yes, there seems to be quite a bit of facing our fears and not attaching to things. Even though Taurus is about attainment, you have to clear out to attain, and it just feels as if there's something here about really getting back to basics and really simplifying our life and really facing any fears that we may need to in order to do that process. Okay, should we move on to week 2? Let's do that. Just going to take a little bit more water. And I'm just going to look at what astrology is going on for the second week. So just bear with me. Okay. So, you know, I was just talking about Mercury coming out of its shadow period on the 10th. Well, it moves into Scorpio on the 8th. And it doesn't like being in Scorpio because Scorpio doesn't say very much. But that's okay. It feels like we've gone through such a process with this Mercury retrograde that we may just need to be silent for a while with our communications. You know, we may just need to just be gentle, just be internal. The Scorpio time of year is very like that. So there is this energy of kind of coming through. And when we look at this, the 8 of Cups, you can kind of see this feeling here of like trying to get things not working. So again, there is this feeling of needing to come back into ourselves. Venus is also in Scorpio, I think, which doesn't like being in Scorpio either, because Venus is the ruler of Taurus, so it's in its full. So there is this energy of love feeling far or love feeling distant, which is kind of what you've got here as well in the 8 of Cups. Is there's this the real feeling of like, you know, I can't get what I need from someone else. It's quite interesting that there's this illusionary feeling with this Pisces sign, because Neptune is going to go direct this month, which is the ruler of Pisces. And so all things about illusions are going to be coming up as well quite strongly. Although Neptune going forward is generally talking about enlightenment, but at first we may well have that sense of everything around illusion kind of coming up strongly, so that we really know what is illusion and what is enlightenment. But that's not until later on in the month. So we've got the Palace of Wands here, which is lovely, and we've got a couple of grand fire trines this month as well, so that's really great. It's kind of keeping us feeling positive or feeling motivated when it comes to our creations. If ever there was a month for really going internal with what it is that you want to create, it may well be this one. So there's a real energy of support from the universe around our own personal creations, and you know, just doing that with our intuition, but not necessarily talking about it, shouting about it, or involving others in it, at least at the moment. And then we've got this control card, which is the King of Swords. And I guess when it's internal, when everything's internal, maybe there is some type of control mechanism. And maybe that is something that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's if it gets stuck there. I mean, let's go back to the pregnancy analogy. Yeah, it's like there has to be that control. There has to be that boundary for something to grow. But if it gets stuck there, there's a problem. So control in itself is not a bad thing. It's only if it's done, you know, if it's a behavior that isn't called for in certain situations, that it becomes a bad thing. So there is something here to look at in the second week about whether the way that the control energy is in your life, is that serving you, or is it blocking you, or is it making things difficult for you? Is there things in your life that you don't have control over that you do need control over? And that just means in terms of your own life, because obviously we can't have control over what other people do. Or, you know, is it that you're trying to control what other people do and that's not working out that well for you? So yeah, come back to this in the second week of November. I think it's always good to come back to this like 4 times in the month, you know, at those weeks, at the end of one week and the beginning of another, just to see if it's on track with where you are. Have that little review and have that little reminder for what's coming up next. Okay, let's move on to number 3. Need a little bit more drink. Water, should I say? It's not gin. You just have to trust me on that one. Okay, so let's have a look here at the astrology for week 2. Okay, so yeah, we've got some pretty full-on things going on astrologically in week 2. We've got Uranus semi-sextiling Chiron on the 14th. So there could well be things here again about things coming up kind of out of the blue, kind of like, oh, I thought I dealt with that. Where did that come from? It's another healing process. It's better out than in. Okay, just remember that. And then we have the Neptune going direct on the 16th. So all things to do with illusions might be kind of tied in with that, as I was saying before. And we kind of have this pictured a bit in the cards. You've got the 9 of Pentacles here, which is basically talking about, yeah, generally feeling quite comfortable with some things, how they are. And then on the other side, there's this 3 of Swords, which is this feeling of, well, when I tune into this, I get disappointment. It's just like disappointment that some things aren't the way you would like them to be. Maybe some people are acting out of hurt, or misunderstanding your intentions, or it just feels sad. You know, it's like, why does it actually have to be like this? And you've got the 4 of Swords here as well, which is postponement. So again, we're getting another message here about quietness, about time out. Time really is a great healer. And sometimes I think we do just have to hand situations over to the universe and just be like, I can't work with this. The communication has got really out of control. It really just feels like there's no way forward here. And, you know, by trying to go into this, it's just going to be creating more hurt. So I'm just handing it over, you know, just whatever needs to happen, allow it to happen. It feels like it may well be that type of thing. There really is this sense, I think, generally all year, big time actually, that there is less and less control on the outside, and only really control of ourselves. And that's being really kind of drummed into us quite strongly, I feel. And I think we are very likely to feel that. So yes, somebody's just asked if there's a replay. Yes, there is, because they've only just got here. Welcome. Okay, so what you have there is the need maybe to just look after yourself, and just, I think the practice of gratitude is coming in really strongly this month. If you're feeling paranoid or sad, or you know, if you're struggling with negative feelings, then, you know, the gratitude practice, I think, and coming back to basics and simplifying your life as much as possible, I think that's just going to be really great practice for all of us. Okay, so let's go on to the fourth week, which is where the action starts to boom all of a sudden. So let's just check the astrology. Bear with me a moment. Well, Venus enters Sagittarius, but that actually happens in the second week, on the 16th. And then the Sun enters Sagittarius on the 22nd. So that would make sense for all the fire and the booming energy starting to come in, and the Wheel of Fortune, which is ruled by Jupiter, which is Sagittarius's ruler. So what we've got there is basically a real kind of energy here going on around just being able to actually start to feel a bit lighter, actually start to feel like we've gone into the darkness, we've gone into Scorpio, because we've done that transition, and we're going into Sagittarius, which is a lot more joie de vivre, a lot more starting to feel the festive spirit, a lot more sociable, a lot more talkative. The only thing with Sagittarius is they can put their hooves in it a lot. So be aware, after not speaking for so long, that it might just go a little bit over the top. There is an energy of maybe tactlessness around, and it's those types of things that we generally need to watch. However, I think it's important also, or for us, should I say, to actually just enjoy ourselves and take things lightly, because, to be honest, what a year! My gosh, I mean, it feels to me like 2012 had nothing on 2014. And I think if ever there was a year to practice understanding that everybody is doing their best from their level of consciousness, and that everybody has their own life and it's a unique thing, and that just has to be respected, you know, I think this is the year for really doing that practice. And what we've got here is beautiful energy in the third week of August, and this here is just basically saying, wow, you know, this is a real kind of, I think you're going to feel it third week of August, just this feeling of like, okay, the light is returning. Am I saying August? Why am I saying August? That's interesting. Okay, what month is it? November. So this is just going round and round. The changes are happening. I mean, we've had huge amounts of changes this year. We've been asked to let go of so much, and quite shockingly, quite quickly, quite unexpectedly. And it feels like there's a culmination of the change. When I look at this, I don't feel like it's a start of the change. I feel like it is an end of the change. So it feels to me like we're really starting to come through that high spin I was talking about that's been going on again and again, and just like feeling like, oh, can we just have some time out? It feels to me like this is the end of the cycle. This is basically for a while. Of course, life is something that moves, but I do just get a sense of like, I can see clearly, and this is who I am now. This is my identity. We've got the King of Wands here, another fiery energy going on here that is really sure of who they are, really feeling good about it, really feeling confident, really feeling clear, really feeling mature with everything as well. And we've got awareness. Now, that awareness card is very interesting because, you know, that's, to have awareness, we need to be able to see. Something has to be in our vision. And for the King of Wands, that's what he is. You know, he is somebody that has that vision. He is somebody that, you know, it's like when you light a match, when you light a torch, it's so you can see. So in the third week of Scorpio, in the 3rd week of November. I've got a real block with the word November. In the 3rd week of November, we really do have this feeling of everything clearing, which I think feels amazing. I mean, I don't know about you. I've said it maybe once too much in this. Okay, I just got to say that quite a few of you are posting some comments. I think it might be because you've tuned in late and you've not heard, but they'll just get lost. I will say when to start posting comments, if just in case you know, you've asked something, I'm not going to get it until that I open up that energy time. Okay, so what was I saying? Yeah, so much kind of chaos this year. I don't know whether you guys have felt it, but it's felt like everything's been pretty uncontrollable, and you know, it's like there's been a whole load of stuff and it's not actually cleared, it's not actually settled. And I know grand trines times that hit around April time this year, and I just feel like maybe this is the month, you know, we're coming towards the end of the year where actually the clearing really started, the peace can happen, the changes have actually place over the last few months, and there's been time for some renegotiation of who you are and healing of who you are, and acceptance of things and allowing it on their new form. I think we're not in such a resistance to it as we maybe have been throughout the year. By the end of this month, it feels like there could be some really powerful healings. Also with Neptune going direct, you know, it's a very spiritual healing time, and the aspect with Chiron and Uranus is like a sense of another little shock, but hey, you know, this is just it's just like another necessary part of the change. It's like we've all been forced so much this year, and it's tough, and there's layers of ourselves that have really gone through the ringer, and you know, relationships may have suffered or gone, friends may have suffered or gone, work may have suffered or gone, and everything that's gone so quickly, it's just like you thought it wasn't there, and it's just like okay, but I can nurse with this, and I can heal this, and I can be in that place of gratitude for whatever that's about for me, and make peace with it, either internally or with that situation externally. I do think, you know, the 3rd week in November looked like to happen. Okay, so let's move on to the 4th week. Sorry, that was the 4th week all the way along. But maybe that's just a 3rd, 4th week blend, and that's maybe why that was happening. So the general is 8 of Pentacles. This is again and time to ourselves to figure things out, to work things out, to work out why things in our life have manifested the way that they have, and work with it might be a little bit confusing this month. Quite interesting, we've got the Venus in Scorpio here, the 8 of Cups, and confusion around that. But remember, Venus Sagittarius on the 16th, so it's a little bit more happy. There is a process going on before about getting really clear about why some of our actions have ended up the way that they have. Again, the intuitive aspect that I'm talking, this kind of like, oh, I knew it. Why did I make that decision from fear or for money or for someone else or from my head? And actually, really, if I'm just to really listen down, I knew it deep down. And I think, you know, we've really got some big lessons on intuition going on if we're not listening to it properly this month. And then we have the light at the end of the tunnel. Even though, you know, we don't sit at the end of the tunnel December, so to speak, there is this energy of everything going into Sagittarius, which does have a much energy around it. So that was the part of the Astro Tarot channel. And what we do now is, this is time for your questions. An hour left, and it's a first come, first served basis. I explained just now for the second time. If you've put any questions before now, I probably them. So if you want to send in a question, but please can you try and make it specific, because we've already done the general. And I'll be tuning into my own intuition, and my guide comes through changes. So if my voice changes, that's all that's happening. We've done the astrology, we've done the tarot, nothing part. Okay. So if you're in the chat box to ask now, and remember, if you want it to be private, you put private to admin in the chat box. Okay, just waiting for your questions to come through now. Some of you lovely feedback. Lovely. Okay, they're coming in now. And channeling water. Let's have a look. First question. More water. Okay. First question is a private question, so I won't say your name. It says feeling an introverted lately, if that will be. Also, I've been emailing a guy with potential romantic interest. I'm wondering if you could see the S. Just get in my position. Tune into your energy. The tiredness feels like it's to do with structure or the lack of structure. Well, that's one aspect to it. The other one, are you getting enough? I think it might be for you to check and see if your balance is good on the food side of things. No, I don't want to kind of I've just got to be true to what's coming through here. It feels to me like it's like they're a distraction. I think for you to not be what structure plays for you and your life. So I've watched that behavior if I was you, because it just feels like it's energy that's not necessarily going anywhere to what I can see here. It feels like nice connection, could be like somebody that you have as a friend always, but how much energy you, and ask yourself, are you using this as a it could also be why you might be feeling a little bit drained or tired at the moment, because the energies just don't seem to be going in the right place. Just needs a little bit of shifting around. I hope that you find that useful. Thank you for your question. Okay, so going down to the next one. Hi Tiffany, I hope you are well. I've met a young man a few months ago and I would like to know what he feels about me and how our relationship is going to evolve. Thank you. P.S. There are two Sarahs here. Thank you. Sarah's even. Okay, you are Sarah S. Hello, Sarah S. Thank you very much for your question. I must admit, the first question that came up for me was like, why are you asking me how he is feeling about you? Obviously, I'm asking for those types of questions, but that is the first thought that came into my head. So it feels to me that there is something here about, I feel that you know that this is a safe relationship, and maybe you are kind of acting from things that haven't been in the past that is keeping you from holding back. I feel like if you don't know how he feels about you, are you ever? And I think this is because right now the energy between you two feels really strong and really connected to me. So it just feels to me like there is a fear around it not being true, things to do with the past that perhaps need clearing for you. I don't think that this man is someone who's going to make a big song and dance of how he feels about you, but I don't feel like he's just going to run either, as long as you're grounded with it. I mean, it feels to me like he's not the type that would declare lots, and so I don't think he'd like a big deal made out of it. I don't think he would like, let's sit down and talk about where this is heading very much. But I feel like it's only because he's like, well, what's the point? What's the need? You should know. He seems like a very, very down-to-earth guy to me, and I think that's just what I'm being told to kind of mirror back to you, and I hope that you find that useful. Thank you. Okay, so next one. Can you please shed some light and clarity on my connection to Peter? It feels confused currently. Should I walk away and let him go once and for all? Is this for our highest good? Thank you, Tiff. Okay, just tuning in now. Peter doesn't feel like an easy person to me, Lobster. God, how can you ever really know where you are with him? Feels very scorpionic to me, actually. So, you know, that energy could be really increased right now. I feel like you have a great connection, and it's something that is going to be kind of there. It feels like a deep soul connection, which is not just there for life, it's there for lifetimes, and it will do its own thing. It will come in and out. It's not a control one. What do you want? You know, if you are wanting this to be something that is together, that is a relationship with somebody that you in a fashion, I think that is not what this relationship is about. If you want that very deep feeling of kinship that comes in life, that has a spirituality to it, that catalyst shows you certain times let go of and open up to again and again and again, but by doing that, it actually shows you the magic in your life and in your life. That's what I feel like you have with him. So maybe the only thing to let go of here is the need for it to fit in type of box or be made. And it's more like, can you let open to the wonder of it without being attached to it, so that you are open to you know, manifesting what you may well want, you know, in a relationship, and it not being actually attached to them. Okay, you find that useful. All right. So this one says, oh, practical question, Sandrine, who asks, what can I do to earn money? What can you do to earn your request? There, bear with me. What is it you want the money for? That is coming through very strongly. What is it you want the money for? In order for there to be money there is a need for a very strong clarity of destination with this. This is the realization for this. What is it you want? How in alignment we are asking you very much to come back to basics. There's this very strong of things around you, abundance around you that may not come through money. Maybe people giving you food, and may well be opportunities coming from around you. There's a feeling of community, but for you at the moment there isn't that. So if you are asking what it is that you can do to earn money, it's not going to be the answer that you are expecting. Go and get a job, checks along those lines. No, it's very much a case of look at the people around you in your community, nurture your community, and think what it is that you want more, and also what is your service, rather than how can I get money. What is it I can do? What is it I can be? What service can I offer? What you're asking us. But it is not for us to tell you what your service is. This is something that you feel inside for you to figure out. It's something for you to own guide with. And that is then will come, but abundance will come much more. Your whole world will open all manner, shapes and forms. I hope you found that useful, Sandri. My guide wanted to come through for that one for you quite strongly when he messaged. So, Rosemary, hi Rosemary, would really like on which book concentrate on writing. Once when I started writing probably 4 or 5 years ago. Okay. On one hand, I see one book that is about thick. On the other hand, I'm seeing like they may be series. You haven't said what books they are. So I'm really going to have to go on my intuition and it be symbolic rather than. But these little books, they little guide of I don't know, it's coming over. It's almost like children's books, but like little guides, children's books. And I keep seeing 5 or 6 of them. And I just feel like it may well be better to concentrate. Just because this other one started 5 or 6 years ago feels massive to me. It feels like it's work or it's a novel or something along those lines. It feels huge. Now, it may well be enough time and to concentrate on that. And if you do, then concentrate on that. But if you don't, and let's face it, not a lot of us do, then it may well be that there's anything out there that's just quick and simple and easy and to the point and can be uploaded on Kindle and can be part of a program or things along those lines. And yeah, I mean, really, it's for you to decide what book to concentrate on, because like the love of your life. And if, like I said, if you've got the time and the money to do that, fabulous. Yeah, it feels like a bit of life's work. I hope that you find that guidance useful in whatever way it is for you. Okay, this one's a private message. I saw freedom and love coming in to me this month, and how lovely. What's your feelings around these words for me? Thanks, Tiffany. My feeling is I want to concentrate on the word free. I want to concentrate on freedom, because freedom is something that expands our energy and allows us to come in. Love, it can sometimes be that we want to bring that love in. When we hear love, it's like, oh, I'm getting love, when really it may well be that the love is something to bring in the freedom, rather than get or pain. It's to do with love of self that is just bringing in freedom. I feel like the more that you concentrate on the word freedom, the more love will come in quite naturally. It's like maybe keeping you in a place where you're not feeling free. Where is it you're not allowing yourself to be free? What would freedom look like with each decision in your life? What would freedom look like? It's interesting you put freedom before love. I don't know whether free into your head before love did. I'm assuming it did, because that's the way you wrote it, and I think the fact that it's in that order, actually strong message in itself, that it's in that order. Okay, I hope that you find. Thank you for your question. Okay, so this is from time management has been so difficult. Everything feels like I'm wading through treacle, exhausted and starting to get quite fed up. How can I? Well, I don't know whether it's a case of clearing it, if I'm honest, Kim. I think with structure, it's all down to do with tying in clear times for things. And you could clear it doing meditation, and I release this feeling, and of course that's going to be a brilliant thing to do. But if you do that and you don't have that structure put in place, then up again. It feels to me like there's something here about getting a structure put in place, or finding some help for it to be put into place, some support put in place, because it sounds like you might need that. But you could try doing it yourself. You could try really kind of being regimented with yourself and setting out a timetable, being pretty strict, at least for a few months, 2 or 3 months, and then you can kind of relax it a little bit after that. I hope that you find that useful. Thank you for your message, Kim. And it says, I would love to know how the relationship with the love of my life, who has just broken up with me, is going to look like or be within the next couple of months. Away from him and let him go once and for all, or are we meant to be together, as we both love each other? And due to the situation, it wasn't a decision made out of integrity or from the heart. That's interesting. I hear you, that a situation has presented itself to happen for you is very painful, upsetting, and frustrating. The fact that it has happened tells me that it's in line with process, and it's got to be honoured. Painful as it is, you know, the more that we let go of things, the more we step into our new reality. There is a new saying something that is completely over. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is you are going to cause yourself a pain, accepting how it is right now, in the rhythm of how it is presenting itself. I can feel that there's a lot of love between you. I feel like there's continued contact, but I feel like it's quite challenging for you as well, because it doesn't clear breakup. I don't feel like you're together in terms of sleeping together, but I just feel like there's some reason why you keep communicating. So I don't get a sense of a time of there being like this kind of time out zone, which is difficult because you know, it doesn't, feelings shift really. So I think it's even more important for you really to be able to be in that place of grace and accept. It's a spiritual, I think, that you're on here, about, okay, this is the way it is right now, and just give yourself time to kind of heal. Give yourself as much time as possible. If you can have time out and time away, that would not be a bad thing, particularly for 2 or 3 months, if it is at all possible. Okay. All right. This is from Helen. Hi, Helen. Thank you, Tiffany. Wonderful meditation as always. Felt a tightening in my chest as I was writing my answers to the questions, but a wonderful warm feeling of release when we burnt them up. Okay, good. Thank you again. Does the universe see any positive changes in my financial position anytime soon? Yeah, I mean, the financial position for you, Helen, feels like it's erratic. So I'm not seeing stability, but I am feeling quite a bit of money. It's kind of here. It's like big energy here. And I say quite a bit of money, I mean, that's all relative. What does quite a bit of money mean? But I'm seeing a chunk. But what I'm not getting yet is that you're in a place where there is an income, a cash flow that is coherent, is the word that's coming through, if that makes sense. This chunk of money, I don't know whether it's 350 or 3050, but it feels more like the lower end. But even so, what is it you can do with that is the question, to make that cash flow more coherent. That is how things start to become more coherent. It's kind of easy, isn't it, to go, oh, we've got 350, but we have to keep it by because we might need it. Whereas I think it was Alan Sugar that started his business off on 100 quid or a tenner, was it, or something, you know. So it's like, what have you got with, you know, what have you got, and what can you do with that to create more of a consistent cash flow, basically. All right, so a question to leave you with, and I hope that you get some insights from it. Thank you. Oh, someone's saying thank you. That's Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, this is from Katie. Hi, Katie. I often find myself to be a people pleaser and act super nice to everybody, but for some reason around my family, I can become mentally and emotionally aggressive, and I don't understand this and would love info on ways to change this behavior in both regards. Yeah, okay. It's to do with feeling safe. basically. You feel safe with your family, and not with other people. That's the first thing that came to me, Katie. I could be completely wrong. Like I said, just listen to your own intuition. But that's what it sounds like to me. So it feels to me as if the way to change this is to feel safe with everyone. And the way to feel safe with everyone is not to be attached to anyone. I mean, what was it? William Shakespeare said something about love everyone, trust a few, and do wrong to no one, or do harm to no one. So in order for that to come into balance, so you're not doing wrong to yourself or harm to yourself or your family, there's a need for you to love everyone, but not put your trust in them. We cannot control what anybody else's reactions are, you know, and by being people pleasing, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to give them something to attain their good thoughts about you. And gosh, that's a real draining place to be. It's a real draining place to be when we care about what other people think. And you know, just you know, this is I'm not actually psychically reading or channeling my guide on this one at all. This just feels like me talking to you from the heart here. And you know what I will say, Katie, is, you know, I've gone through this very thing quite powerfully the last couple of years, and the last week or so has been very strong, to do with lots of misunderstandings. And you know, it's like, wow, you know, actually what this is showing is that I've really got to just unattach from that, unattach from it. There is a sense, I think, when you're kind of in the public eye, that, and I know I'm talking about myself here, but I just want to share with you from the heart, really, that when you're kind of in the public eye, that can get manifested if there's this feeling of you know, wanting people to like you. You know, it is something that can really pull you out of alignment, and you can get some really big lessons on that because it's not controllable. So what I'm sharing with you is it's interesting you ask this question. It's something that I feel that I've been going through quite strongly, quite lately, in some way, shape or form. And you know, that really what somebody else thinks of you is absolutely none of your business. And you know, if you can just really remember that and remind yourself of that, it's quite freeing, actually. You know, it's like people will think, you know, in the way that they do, and you can only be responsible for your way of dealing with that. One of Wayne Dyer's favorite quotes of mine is, you know, what other people do is their karma, and the way you react is your karma. And you are showing here that you feel responsible around, you know, how you are acting out with your family. That's your karma there. And obviously you know that it needs to stop because you're asking about it. But the way that it stops is for you to not give so much of a damn what other people think, and for you to just allow yourself to be you, and just know that you have absolutely no control over what they think anyway. Just like Buddha said, I think one of his disciples said to him when he was spat on by some passerbys, you know, don't you care? He just stayed there in meditation with spit kind of dripping off him. He's like, you know, don't you care? And it was like, well, you know, no. I mean, they don't spit on me. They spit on their perception of me. And it's so true. It's so true that, you know, we just have these interactions with people and they just get to see one aspect of who you are. And it might not even be a true aspect at all. It was just something that happened in that interaction that was needed for both of you at that time, no matter how it planned out, ugly or enjoyable or whatever it was. So I've rambled on a bit here because I could talk about this all day, and I need to move on from this. But I really wanted to share with you that this is not me reading psychically. It's not me channeling. It's just me sharing from the heart with you a basic fact of life. And that once that your head is around that, you've got that internal security in yourself. Once you've really got into that place of being comfortable with who you are and not needing approval from the outside, it will come into balance, and you will no longer have that issue with how you're behaving within your circle of loved ones. I hope that you find that useful. Okay. Lolly. Hi, Lolly. My mum has been ill for years, and whatever treatment she has does not seem to improve her health. Is this a connection to a past life causing the illness? Thank you. Okay, again, I might be reading slightly, but as far as I'm aware, I'm not. There is a little bit coming in. Yeah, there is a bit coming in. Okay. I feel as if your mum has had a lot of trauma, and I want to go back to when she was 13 or 13 years ago. I get the number 13 coming through. Okay, so there is quite a lot of energy coming through on the reading side, actually. Yes, it's past life stuff, but past life stuff is just a continuation. So it's this life stuff as well. There's stuff here to do with food, stuff here to do with her energy feeling quite stagnant. When I go into her energy, the way they're showing me it is like rotting food. Now, obviously, I'm not a doctor. I can only look at this holistically. I feel as if there's stagnation around your mum quite strongly, and I guess that would be the case if she's been ill for years. It'll just kind of go on this downward spiral. I would suggest, that there are holistic things that can happen. And when I talk about holistic things, I don't necessarily mean alternative therapies. I mean your mum looking at her diet and seeing what she's actually putting in her body. What is she committing to? Is there too much sugar, milk, dairy, wheat going on there? Because her energy feels like it needs to be looked after on the basic fundamental level of consuming before that spiral starts going up in the other direction, whether it's past life or not. I hope that you find that useful. Thank you, Lolly. Oh, okay. Someone's saying thank you for the reading, and that their video is breaking up quite badly, and hopefully the replay will be good. The replay should be fine because it's fine this end, so yeah, it should be fine. Getting lots of thank yous, which is lovely. Thank you. I know it's like time to go, but there's one more question, and that is a private one, and it says, hi Tiff. Okay, yeah, no more questions. Thanks, guys. I'm not saying that any of you put questions in, but just got a lovely comment through and thought I better just say no more questions. Thank you. And thank this question here, the last one. I love your Astro Tarot channel. 2014 has been a year of feeling stuck for me. Could you feel movement coming for me? Thanks. I'm sorry to hear that, sweetheart. It's really nice to hear from you. I know who you are, but I'm going to keep this private. It feels like you've been struggling a lot with your energy. It feels like there isn't a sense of groundedness or expansion around you. To me, it feels as if there is a sense of intrepidation. It's like you've been trying to put one foot forward, but you're not quite sure that the ground is there for you to do so. And it's as you've kind of been shaking with that, things have been falling away. So it's like there's this sense of restriction more and more around you. Now, it'll either get to the place where, of course, something will have to shift, which probably will be the case. And that can feel quite scary. And I don't mean to scare you with that. It's just the way it is, isn't it? When we're in a comfort zone or things like that, sometimes we can't change things enough. Sometimes there needs to be a friction. There needs to be a spark, like a match. You need to rub it up against something to get that light happening. I feel like your environment has become very small. I feel as if like there needs to be more space. There needs to be more expansion, more hobbies, more community, in order for things to become unstuck. So I think if you can build on that, you can turn it around before then, if I'm honest. What comes to mind is the 4th week in November. You know, when we were seeing all of those changes in the cards, that's what I am feeling for you. May well be a good time to activate them. You know where I am if you want a deeper reading. There's a lot there, and you know, I can't really go into it in full depth just in this webinar, but thank you for your question. It's nice to hear from you. Got some lovely feedback, so lots of lovely thanks. One from Katie saying everything you said, well, that, you know, I was talking heartfelt, including about yourself, and the quotes you gave were all very relevant to me, and I appreciate all the messages you gave, as I can see how it helped me and others on the call in the present. Oh, bless your heart. And Lolly says many thanks, and that all made sense. That's always good to know. Okay, so have an amazing month. Thank you very, very much for joining me, and I appreciate your energy. I appreciate that I wasn't sat here talking to myself. I appreciate your questions. I appreciate your thanks and your feedback. And you know, if you want more of a reading, more of a one-to-one connection or a healing, you can pop over to my website, tiffanychristara.com. I have a channeling course on Sunday, a week today, and it's the last time that I'm running that course. So if you want to do that, please drop me a line or book it online. It is on my website, but my website's going through some construction, so just drop me a line if you can't find it. And I've got some really interesting things up my sleeves, my witchy sleeves, for next year, to do with being able to learn tarot, not just for reading, but for your life, for your wisdom, for your ability to see the rhythms, and not just in London, but over the webinar as well. So London based and also world based. So I know there's a few of you across the pond and in other countries that have expressed that you wished that you were here so that you could learn. So I'm putting a package together so that you don't have to be here to learn. And oh, bless, got another thank you from Anna. Bless, thank you, Anna. Oh, that's lovely. I wish you all an amazing month, and let's just do a little bit of grounding, shall we, just to make sure we're ready to go. Okay, so just close your eyes, take a nice deep breath in, and as you breathe out, just release that energy and just go down through the floor, down through the ground. Oh, I think that's all that needed to be done. I just got this real feeling of release. And the best thing to do now, guys, is to switch off the computer, go for a little walk, go for something to eat or something to drink, just to get you that grounding in and just really, okay, honor the end of October and the beginning of November. I wish you a beautiful month, and I hope to see you again next month, if not before. Take care for now. Bye-bye.